What is up, RotoGrinders? 45 minutes at crunch time starts now. Myself, Dean Chabelson, joined by Kyle Murray, Noto, Notorious. You probably read him today in the expert survey, if not the expert survey, the core play article. It is just 3 games, so I figured, I know it's crunch time. We typically don't play games here, but we are going to play a game, give away week 3 of RG Premium. We'll go ahead and drop that first clue. Producer Steve is all over it, dropping that first clue for the people. It is Block, and this is not Movie Monday. This is Fleet Monday. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about. Discord channel, rotogrinders.com/Discord. Live stream chat channel. I'll be the first to do so. You get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Noto, happy Monday. How are things?
Yeah, doing well. Hope everyone had a good weekend. It's always fun to do a show with you, Dean, and Kyle, a.k.a. Sabonis, Luka, Pat Spencer, Camps, all the Spencers. So, yeah, what's up, guys?
Noto, me and you, we tend to only talk about a minute every 2-3 times a week, maybe in a crossover, maybe like a head nod of some sort. But yeah, I got full on Noto today for 45 minutes. I'm excited about that.
I need you to do me a favor if you can.
What do you got?
Ask me if I had a good NFL day yesterday, or say that I had a great one, and then I'll say I didn't, but then I will this week.
No, I heard you had a spectacular weekend in football. You absolutely smashed. Word in the street. Can you confirm or deny?
Yeah, I didn't, but thanks for putting that out there. And next week.
You want to ask me? You want to ask me?
Yeah. Oh yeah, Dean. How was your day yesterday?
I actually had a very good day.
Oh, let's go.
I was just fishing, but
was there a tweet out there?
No, I know it doesn't count. They don't pay you if you don't tweet it out.
I know.
DK is like, you know what? You didn't tweet, so the money's still locked up for now. The late slate. We hit second in the $50 single entry on DK in that lineup. Was into other stuff as well. So yeah, it was a good day for your boy. Yeah, right up to me.
Love that.
Kyle, you want me to ask you, or should we just say hello? I don't know.
Yeah, it's best to not ask me. I don't want to relive that horror story. I didn't have enough Shedeur Sanders apparently, but Dean, you got to make sure you tweet it so you can get your free month of RG Premium.
Oh, is that a thing? Is that a thing we're doing? I'm not aware of that.
We were at some point. I might have had some bad promo there, but it was a thing at one point.
I don't know if that's a thing. I cannot confirm or deny. I'll tell you what is a thing. Ant-Man is playing basketball. Superstar Anthony Edwards. He was questionable. He had the fish. He was ill. He's going to play tonight. That's a big deal as far as the slate. It's just a 3-gamer. 1 game at 7, 1 at 7:30, 1 at 8 o'clock. We have the Cup this week, so it's it's a baby schedule. Tuesday and Wednesday is Cup games. Not a lot of writing for you, Noto. I'm assuming you're liking this week if you saw the schedule. It's a reprieve of some sort.
Yeah, it's great. And Andy even gave me tomorrow off. Shout out to Taylor. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself tomorrow.
Let's snow? Do you like to ski? Is that something you can do? Can you sneak out of the house?
I used to. It's been probably 10 years since I've snowboarded, but that might be fun.
All right, fair enough. Relax. Watch something on there's something streaming I'm sure you haven't watched just yet. You got to catch up on all the shows.
Is Pluribus good? I've heard good things.
I'm 2 episodes in, and it is I'm going to give Vince Gilligan all the benefit of the doubt because he's just created 2 of the best shows of all time, in my opinion. It's different. I'm in. I'm going to enjoy the ride, and I can't tell you after 2 episodes, incomplete, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Maybe the chat can tell us. Kyle, have you watched Have you fired up Pluribus?
I have not, but I've heard a few good things, so maybe I'll add it to the list.
All right. Tonight's 3-gamer. We are waiting for Dylan Brooks. He's officially questionable. That's kind of the big one as far as the Q tags. Looking at the injury report, Murray should be good to go. He was questionable earlier in the day. Castle also said he's going to play, so we'll take him at his word. Not sure about Luke Cornett. There's a chance Herb Jones. We haven't seen him for a while. He's officially questionable. Not sure if he's going to play, but I guess there's a shot he gives it a go. But yeah, Keegan Murray is available. Ant is available, and that's kind of the big ones. Castle officially questionable, but he said he's going to play, so we'll assume he is not lying. Okay, we're going to go position by position, start with DraftKings. We'll circle back on FanDuel, see if there's anything distinctly different on FanDuel. Kyle, you want to give any an overview before we fully dive in? How are you seeing tonight's slate?
It's a pretty weak slate, if I'm being honest. 3-gamer, not a ton of exciting stuff going on here, but when you look at the projections, we don't have a lot of elite projected plays, so that kind of opens up the board to maybe take some shots on some guys who aren't projecting as well, or maybe have paths to more minutes due to blowout, or just guys on the bench playing into more more time. So those slates I don't necessarily mind. So it'll be fun to kind of talk about some of those tournament plays, I guess.
No, anything important, anything worth talking about, anything overarching as far as the slate before we dive in?
Yeah, it is kind of ugly. I do like stacking the first game, especially now that Schroeder's out. I think that could be interesting, especially with the other two games having 9 and 9.5 point spreads. I think the first game has the best game environment too. So kind of like doing that. And yeah, the chat's saying, Mr. Still Your Girl. That's not me. So is it Dean or Kyle?
I think it's Kyle. I think Kyle, you talked about the hair. You referenced, it's got to be Kyle. I imagine so. By default.
I would never do such a thing. So it can't be me. It's got to be Dean.
Got to be Dean.
Never. I would never. No, absolutely not. I do say no. I don't. Maybe need a clarification that who they're referencing, who Mr. Still Your Girl is, but we can use some clarification there in the chat. Questions will be prioritized in the Mr. Relevant said it's Kyle. So there's the confirmation. Questions in the Discord channel are prioritized. Save those for the end. You can figure out when we're winding it down. We're also playing our game, and we'll drop that second clue too because we want to have the answer knocked out by the time we're answering questions at the end. Second clue for today's slate is shelf, block, and shelf. Get in that Discord channel. Nobody's guessed it correctly just yet. All right. On DraftKings, let's go position by position. Noto, you're batting first. Point guard, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I really like Nembhard tonight at home against the Kings. They're one of the faster-paced teams. They don't defend well, and he's been solid. Usage rate is going up a little bit the last 3 games. Offers that high floor, pretty good price point too. So he's probably my favorite. But now that the Kings are shorthanded, you got Russell Westbrook. The Kings are kind of tough because if you look at their game logs, man, they're all inconsistent, but they all have reasonable ceilings. So I don't mind going to Westbrook. You have Gillespie for the Suns, who's been playing really well with Booker out. I think those 3 are probably going to be the most popular. So if you want to get a little different, don't mind going down to De'Aaron Fox. And then for large field stuff, I like Alvarado quite a bit. He's a lot like TJ McConnell, who I like too, in that he can just get you a bunch of points really, really quickly. The minutes aren't ever going to look great because we only have projected for 21 minutes, but he could put up 30. Same with McConnell, probably get you 35. Coming off of one of his worst games of the season. So I kind of like using those guys rather than high floor guys on a 3-game slate. And then that's pretty much it for me. I mean, Jeremiah Fears has been playing well, but not really a priority for me tonight.
Kyle, who was left for you? Who did Noto leave you as far as point guards? I just wanted to note, as far as like salary savers tonight, nobody is like a 6X player projection wise in lineup HQ. We only have like a few in the 5. So like you guys talked about this, you were basically said that the slate's not spectacular. Value's not great either. Like you're probably not going to love your lineup. You're probably going to have a player or 2 in there. Just you're sort of just like closing your eyes and hoping the best. But yeah, Kyle, any thoughts as far as you want to double down on somebody Noto out there, or anybody want to add to the conversation as far as point guards on DK?
Yeah, I mean, I will definitely double down on Nembhard. Like him quite a bit. Minutes have been pretty good. Usage has been good since he returned from his little injury absence. McConnell, Noto also mentioned, I think he's kind of a good mold for this sort of slate where, if he's not going to be too popular, he's a guy who can, play limited minutes, but, rack up fantasy points very quickly. A guy that I'll throw out there is Jeremiah Fears, who I like quite a bit. He's in the final game of the slate with the highest total, but I think the Pelicans are getting a little bit more interest elsewhere. He's going to have some ownership, but I think that he's kind of getting lost in the shuffle where he's kind of priced above some of the more popular options like DiVincenzo. McConnell will have some ownership, and then he's cheaper than guys like Gillespie, Nembhard, Westbrook. So he's kind of in that no man's land. So Jeremiah Fears is the guy at point guard that I like quite a bit. And then last name I'll throw out, Malik Monk, 5'1". He gets a little bit of a minutes boost with Dennis Schroeder out, and I think that helps his median projection, but I think it really helps his minutes ceiling where if he's scoring well, or if it's a game where they need more offense, we'll see more time on the floor from Malik Monk. So he's one of those guys that I talked about at the beginning of the show where he could maybe play his way into more minutes and therefore better potential projection. So he's a guy that I have my eye on as well.
Yeah, Monk, a big variance guy. He better score. If he's not scoring, he's in a lot of trouble. But if he is scoring, he can put 20 points in the bucket and get you there just on points. Give me shooting guard, Kyle, DK.
Yeah, Gillespie's projecting pretty well. I know he didn't perform all that great last time out compared to his projection, but he also lost a few minutes due to the blowout, and he didn't score well either. He shot, I think, 1 for 7 from 3. So, if you're going to have people baking in that last performance into this game, you're probably going to be expecting a little bit better of production there. If you can just get a little bit, better efficiency from shooting and then play a couple more minutes. So Gillespie, I think, projects well. One of my favorite plays on the board is Trey Murphy at 7-8, only shooting guard eligible on DraftKings, but I love him in this spot. His usage and production's gone way up with Poole and Zion off the floor, and this is also a really good matchup. And according to our DVA tool, it's the second best matchup for scoring for wings. So good spot here for Trey Murphy as well. Zach LaVine coming off of his biggest game of the year when he also came out and said that they need to let him shoot more. That's typically something that I like to see. It's probably going to lead to a bit more usage for him going forward, I would assume. So those are probably my top 3 options. And then Monk carries over here. He's probably the cheaper guy that I like at the shooting guard position. Yeah,
LaVine lit up my Heat the other night. I don't know how many threes he dropped on him, but it was an absolute shellacking by the Kings. Kind of surprised me. By the way, they're shouting you out there in the chat, Kyle. Last time you were on, you were talking about Danny Wolf. I believe you laddered him. Didn't get to the complete 5, but yeah. I know he paid off for you. So shout out to Danny Wolf there for Brooklyn. Noto, who is left for you as far as shooting guard and then bleed into small forwards?
Yeah, the Kyle ladders have just been crushing lately. Love to see that. So, maybe you have another one for us tonight. Do like the Trey Murphy call. You mentioned the matchup's good for scoring wings. He's a guy that the usage rate's been great with Zion off the floor. So probably my favorite. I have him tagged as a core play. Zach LaVine not only said, he wants to shoot the ball more. He said he could do that any single game if they would give him the damn ball, which is great. So I love the confidence. So, yeah, it's a good matchup for him against Indy. Again, I like stacking up that first game. And then large field stuff, Malik Monk, not a guy that you feel great about, but he's got 40-plus fantasy point upside. They might play a little bit smaller tonight with Sabonis out. So I don't mind looking at him. And then, Schroeder's out as well. Not too interested in Anthony Edwards. Grayson Allen hasn't been playing a ton since coming back from injury, so I'll probably just stick with Murphy, LaVine, and maybe Monk for large field stuff. And then small forward, you have Mathurin here, who, he was so bad for so long since coming back from injury, but put up 47 his last game against the Bulls. Equally as good of a matchup tonight at home against the Kings. Sadiq Bey, I don't know where this Sadiq Bey's been for the last few years, but he's been awesome the last couple weeks. Zion's out once again, so don't mind looking at him in that late game at home against the Spurs. Dylan Brooks, if he's active, he sees a 10% usage boost with Green and Booker off the floor. So with the questionable tag, I don't think a lot of people are going to play him, especially if we don't get that news before lock. We might get it right as lock starts. Those are my favorites. I never played with McDaniels. He's been good, but he's just not a guy I get to a lot. Jordan Goodwin, if Brooks is out, I'll probably play some of him.
McDaniel's kind of a glue guy. He's always the last man in. Nobody ever starts their lineups with McDaniels. You mentioned the Brooks thing. He's got the usage that Zach LaVine wants. Zach LaVine looks at Brooks and is like, I want to shoot like this guy's shooting. Also, I think it's worth noting if Brooks doesn't play, Grayson Allen will get a bump. Gillespie will get a little bit of a bump as well. I would imagine he's already projecting as one of the most popular players in the slate. Is that good chalk or bad chalk? I should have asked that, Noto. Is Gillespie good chalk or bad chalk? He's projected right now around 50% on both sides.
I mean, if I were building, 10 lineups, I'd probably have him in 3. So I think 50% is a little high for me, but he's been playing great. The usage should be there. The matchup is better than it was in recent years against the Wolves.
And I saw somebody mention this in chat. I don't want to catch anybody off guard. If you've dug in, Ethan Thompson, he played 34 minutes last game out of nowhere. I didn't know who he was. I wasn't aware of this dude's existence, basically. I think he's 26. He's not somebody who's young. The Pacers seem to have one of the more highly variant rotations. I guess Kyle can speak to that. As far as doing projections, one of the toughest teams to project for. Do we think this continues going forward? I can't really assume 34 minutes, but is he somebody of note? We're looking for some value tonight, Kyle. Is he somebody that's in the pool at least?
I mean, yeah, he can be in the pool. It's a 3-game slate, and he's really cheap. But I think he's certainly not going to play 34 minutes again. That was essentially the best outcome possible for him, where he not only benefited from other people not playing well, but he ended up just having a really good second quarter. So they kind of just let that roll, and then he ended up starting the second half, and he closed the game. So I mean, again, he's one of those guys that could potentially play into some more minutes, but he's going to have to. If he's going to play into more minutes, you're going to be losing minutes from guys like TJ McConnell. I mean, I don't think anybody's considering Garrison Matthews, but if it's going to be a spot where he starts again, I guess we could maybe see a world where I don't know if we've gotten starters for that game yet, but maybe he gets a random surprise start. Maybe he earned that or something. But currently, I'm probably not going to have a ton of him, but I can't necessarily knock it if he's going to be a value play for some people.
Cornette available to play. Herb Jones officially questionable. If Herb Jones plays, you mentioned it, Noto. Sadiq Bey's been awesome. He's also like priced higher than he's ever been. I would imagine Bey's one of those guys that at least gets a slight hit. Does that matter if Herb goes?
I mean, this is probably a better question for Kyle, but I mean, Bey's still projecting really well, and we have Herb in the lineup or in the projections right now, so I'm still cool with him.
Okay.
Yeah, for what it's worth, when I was doing projections last night, I moved him down a half minute for Herb Jones slotting in. It was more so guys like McGowan's and Hawkins just getting, basically nuked.
That makes sense. Do you want to drop the third clue for the people in the chat? They've not got it just yet. They're in the Discord channel. Clue number 3 is smooth. Block, shelf, smooth. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about in the Discord channel. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. That is RotoGrinders.com/Discord. Go in the live stream chat channel. Tell me one guess per clue drop. We do have about a half hour until lock. 3-gamer tonight. 1 at 7, 1 at 7:30, 1 at 8 o'clock. Kyle, did you knock out small forwards? Whatever Noto did not say. If you want to clean it up, anything you want to double down on, and by all means jump to power forward on DK.
Yeah, I think pretty much all the names Noto mentioned I will double down on. The one guy who I might have a little bit more interest in is Dillon Brooks, only because I think that a lot of people are going to be heavily interested in the Sacramento game, and if we get Brooks news after lock, we might get a little bit of ownership discount. So that's kind of something that I'm maybe leaning into a little bit, and Brooks just projects really well for me. So he's a guy that I'm probably going to be getting into lineups pretty significantly. I love the Bey call. He's been fantastic. 18 points or more in 8 straight games. So that's been nice to see for him. Goodwin, I think, would be a name that Noto mentioned with Brooks out. If Brooks is out, Goodwin is a fantastic play here at 4-7. I would assume he would start and play 26, 28 plus minutes and look pretty good. So, those are pretty much the main names for me right now.
I'm just jumping and checking out the if-then. If we happen to lose Brooks, we're giving Goodwin 27 minutes. And about a 26 DK point projection, 26 FanDuel, give or take. Gillespie would look even a little bit stronger. Allen would get a little bit of a bump as well, it looks like. Yeah. Dunn probably gets a boost, but he's probably not somebody you're playing either way. Power forwards for DK, Kyle?
Real quick, it does look like there's a good chance that Ethan Thompson is, in fact, starting.
Okay.
Not confirmed yet, but that's going to be a spot where we're going to be bumping him up minutes-wise. He's going to look even better.
He's in. Just came out.
Okay, yeah. So that makes sense. So he'll probably bump up to 25, 26 minutes, I would assume. And then, So, if Noto wants to take power forward, I will update that.
He'll probably have like a 20 fantasy point projection, give or take, and he might be very useful. And we'll see how that turns out. But some volatility. It's Nemhard, Ethan Thompson, Mathurin, Pascal Siakam, and Huff drawing the starts. Let's give Kyle a second here to knock out the update on the projection. But Noto, power forward, DK, what do you got?
Yeah, so you just mentioned Siakam. He kind of leads the way in terms of our projections, our RG value. He's been solid, 45 plus in 5 of his last 8. So don't mind looking at him in that first game. Naz Reid's been great too. The minutes are trending up, 32, 32, 27, at least 27 and actually 5 straight games. So he's a guy I like to look to in tournaments. We already talked about Sadiq Bey in that late game. The guy I'm not going to be playing is Harrison Barnes. I know he had that one big game against Memphis, but man, he's been under 26 fantasy points in 7 of his last 8. So if he's going to be the chalk, like 25% ownership, I'm fine being underweight there, especially in tournaments. I'd rather just play Keldon Johnson on like that same team, and he's got a higher ceiling for me. And then Jay Huff's been playing better. Probably not going to get there single entry, small field stuff, but I could see it in large field tournaments.
You mentioned Harry Barnes, but one time over 26. He's probably hitting like 19 every time, though, right? I don't have it in front of me. It's like 19 to 25 every single time.
Yeah, pretty much. He had one bad game, but other than that, it's pretty much 20, 22, 25, 18. So yeah, at 5K, I need more, you know?
Yeah. Very, very rarely you see the guy that gets you there, especially in 2025. But He did have that one game, and I think that was a game when San Antonio was really popular outside of Barnes, basically everybody else around him.
Yeah.
And he went pretty nuts. Kyle, you good? You need a minute?
Nope, all good now. For power forward, Siakam's the guy projecting the best up top for me. Like him quite a bit if you can fit him, but there are a couple of other options. I think it is going to be more of obviously a balance slate because we don't have much to spend up for. We don't have any value, but he's certainly the top raw projected power forward on the slate. Naz Reid I like quite a bit. Obviously, Anthony Edwards questionable with an illness coming into this game. That is something that maybe lingers into the game. So if you wanted to play that narrative, Naz Reid, DiVincenzo, Randall, these guys would all maybe benefit from that if you wanted to build around that. That you can make a case for doing something like that. And then Sadiq Bey we've touched on. I agree with everything on Harrison Barnes. Minutes you kind of know what you're going to get with him, but ceiling not really there. Jay Huff, you don't really know what you're getting from him. He could play 14 minutes. He could play 25 minutes. So, if you want to play him in tournaments, you can make a case for it, but he's also very expensive now, 5'6". So that is also one thing worth noting. And I do think that Thompson being, in the starting lineup does open up a better value option. I think a lot of people are going to play him, but, maybe now you don't have to chase, random value plays, at other positions. So that's pretty much it for me at power forward.
He can fall on his face though, right? I ran the DK optimal stuff now, and he hit my threshold. I maxed it at 70%, and he's the only guy coming in at 70% of lineups. This is DK. He's not it doesn't make as much sense on FanDuel. 4-2 on FanDuel is distinctly different than 3. I mean, still cheap, obviously, and he can certainly pay off that salary. But 3-5 on DK. It looks like you gave him 27 minutes, 21 fantasy points as a median projection. You got to put a number on it, and that's really useful tonight. That's really, really useful tonight. Assuming if he gives you 21, you're good. So
I will say the fact that he played 34 minutes last game makes this more of a difficult projection because typically I would probably put him at 25 minutes, I say, but since he played 34, I was a little bit more, inclined to bump him up some. So might pull him back to 25 and a half, 26, but he's certainly the best, value option on the board right now.
Yeah. Walker got punished last game as far as his minutes. Who knows? The Pacers, the most fluid rotations probably in the league. No, give me some centers on DK as we drop the fourth clue. Fourth clue is steal, shelf, block, smooth, and steal. Get that Discord channel. Tell me what athlete I'm talking about. No, power forwards on DK.
Yeah, so you got Naz Reid here too, who I like in tournaments. Derek Queen's always the guy that I try to be overweight on. I'm just hoping for that 30-plus minute game again. You would think it would happen now that Zion's been out the last few games, but he did play 38 minutes against the Wolves. And when he gets those minutes, he's got a high ceiling. So I like him. For safety, you can go down to Luke Cornett. There's not a lot of value on the slate. He's had 20-plus in 6 straight games. Don't know a ton about Reynaud. How do I say that?
I watched his mixtape today. It's Maxime Reynaud. He's French.
Yeah.
He can hit some threes. He's kind of he's got some athleticism to him as well.
Great eyebrows.
You pulled up his picture, I assume.
Yeah,
I think
the RG picture is real good.
I think it was Stanford he played for. Again, this is what I did pre-show. I was watching because I saw we got a bunch of minutes last time out. There you go. Shout out those eyebrows. But I think he's kind of interesting as far as the price and center. There's not a big opportunity cost today at center. Who the centers you really want to play. So certainly in the mix. Kyle, what say you as far as centers on DK?
Yeah, I like Reynaud quite a bit. 11 plus shot attempts in 3 of his last 4 games. And he's been rebounding pretty well as well. So he's a guy who I think projects well at 5K. Mark Williams is always a guy that I like, especially on smaller slates where you at times can chase these hyper efficient players. He hasn't been as efficient with Phoenix as he was in his Charlotte days, but still would not surprise me if he's a guy who plays 25 minutes and puts up 40, 45 DK points. So Mark Williams is maybe one of my favorite tournament plays on the board, even though it's a really bad matchup for him. But again, when you're looking for some tournament plays on a 3-game slate, you can certainly make the case for a guy like that. Love the Queen call. Again, he's also one of those guys who we can easily see him go out there, put up 1.4 DK points per minute and not really bat an eye. And then the last name I guess I'll throw out that I haven't mentioned because I already talked about Naz Reid and Huff a little bit, but Isaiah Jackson for the same reason of Jay Huff. You don't really need to chase that on this slate now that you do have a guy like Thompson who's going to be a better value option. But if you're afraid of the Thompson chalk, and it does suck that he's center only, but at 4K, If Jackson plays 18 minutes, or maybe he plays into a few extra minutes with Huff, foul trouble or just not playing well, if we get him 21 plus minutes, which we've seen happen, frequently when he's coming off the bench so far this season, he could easily go out there and put up 30 DK points as well. So he's a guy that I certainly have as a tournament option.
Yeah, it's a good point you made as far as the small slates. I do love leaning into the guys that have big variance, like a Queen. You can catch the night when Queen just goes off. Sometimes he'll dud for you, and that's what's going to happen. But less players to beat, and he absolutely could separate. And just like Isaiah Jackson, you never really know when it's going to happen, but sometimes he can go out there and play 19 minutes and get 30 fantasy points. And same thing with Mark Williams. He can get 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes, and that's it, right? He goes to the bench, and that's that. Or he can put up 15, 15, and 4, and he can, 4 stocks and really separate yourself from the field. Okay. Going to drop the 5th clue here in a second. We do have nobody guessed it correct just yet. It is not Hall of Famer Jeff Kent, who's in the Hall of Fame before Barry Bonds, who was walked before Barry Bonds. They walked Barry Bonds to get to Jeff Kent with the bases loaded. I'm not getting into that no time. It's not Buster Douglas. It's not Usain Bolt. I will say this. This is a good clue. This is a good clue for the people. It's not Elf Payton. That's a very good guess, Kyle. The people did guess Elf Payton because Elf on the Shelf.
Yeah.
But here, this is a clue that's helpful as we drop the 5th clue. Clue number 1 and clue number 4 are linked. Block and steal are kind of like almost one clue in a sense. But the 5th clue is bathroom. Also want to mention Missouri. Missouri, if you haven't just yet, there's sports betting now in Missouri. Be sure to check out the link in the show description to find the best promo codes to sign up for, all the different books that, you get your links, get your deposit bonus. If you have not done that just yet, link in the description on the YouTube. As you're hitting the like button, please like, subscribe, turn on notifications, do all those things, help us keep the lights on. But have at it if you're in Missouri and get all those bonus deposit codes. Okay, let's run it back quickly as far as FanDuel. This won't take as long, but anything distinctly different, we're going to knock out your questions too. Questions in the Discord are prioritized. Again, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Knock out those questions first, and then I'll circle back on the YouTube. Kyle, you see anything distinctly different at point guard on FanDuel?
Nothing too significantly different. It's pretty much the same. There are a couple of price differences that make things a little bit, off there. But for the most part, guys that are my favorite in the mid-tier, DiVincenzo, Nembhard, still like Fears quite a bit in tournaments. And then, Gillespie's projecting pretty well. He's going to have some ownership. And then Westbrook and Fox is like the spend-up options. The one main difference is McConnell's a little bit more expensive on FanDuel, but he also gets the added bonus of having an extra point for steals and blocks. So if he goes out there and has one of those 5 or 6 steal games, he's going to look even better on FanDuel. So he's still in play over there, just maybe not as good of a play out compared to DraftKings. Yeah, and he's also not a good 3-point shooter. So again, he doesn't hurt on DK when he's not making threes because they leave him wide open. He'll take them sometimes when he's they're 7-8 feet off him sometimes. You see anything different, Noto, as far as FanDuel point guard? We don't have to double down with the same sort of conversation. If you don't see anything, by all means, feel free to jump on the shooting guard for FanDuel. What do you got for me?
Yeah, I was just going to say the price point difference for De'Aaron Fox, much cheaper on FanDuel, 50% ownership right now, but I think that's pretty good chalk. And then Nembhard is a little more expensive on FanDuel, so I'm hoping we get him at lower ownership. Then moving over to shooting guard, Ethan Thompson, if you want to play him at lower ownership, this is probably the place to do it. He's 4.2 over here. So I think he's kind of a free square now on DraftKings, and over here it's more of a decision point. So still like Murphy, still like Nembhard, and then Grayson Allen's a little bit cheaper on FanDuel too at 5.8.
What about small forward, Noto? Anything different at small forward on FanDuel?
Doesn't look too different. Matherin's a little bit cheaper at 6.8, so you can get to him. He's, again, one of those high ceiling guys. The floor hasn't been there recently, but love the matchup at home against Sac. DeRozan, we didn't really talk about him on DraftKings, I don't think. Probably more playable on FanDuel. He's 6.4. The problem is, all these guys project similarly on the Kings, and so I don't know who to prioritize between Westbrook, Levine, DeRozan. They're all kind of the same to me.
DeRozan's kind of like Harry Barnes, right? Where he typically doesn't give you that monster night, right? He typically doesn't crush you either. But, because he doesn't, he just very, very rarely is he going to put up a triple-double type deal. He's not necessarily a guy that's going to double-double either, but probably doesn't destroy you either. If you got anything, Kyle, for a small forward on FanDuel, by all means share. Otherwise, pivot to power forward FanDuel. Anything different than DK?
No, pretty much the same thing. I guess Harrison Barnes is a little bit more cheaper compared to some other players on slate. I still think the feeling's the same where I don't love it. I would rather maybe chase some higher upside guys, but for what it's worth, he is a little bit more affordable over there, but I don't know if it's necessarily needed the savings there. I would rather spend the $1,500 to get up to a guy like Levine with more of a ceiling.
Power forward FanDuel. What do you got, Kyle?
Yeah, pretty much the same stuff here as well. Naz Reid, probably my favorite power forward. Still do like Siakam and DeRozan as well, but I think Reid's probably the higher upside guy at this point, even at fewer minutes compared to DeRozan. And Siakam would be the spend up option. You have Bay and Queen here, so pretty much all the same stuff here.
Noto, power forward on FanDuel, center and FanDuel. Anything you want to stress?
Randall's more in play on FanDuel, I think, at 8.1. I don't think a lot of people are going to play him tonight against Phoenix. And then center, Reynaud is probably going to be a little bit lower owned on FanDuel, which I like. Cornette's kind of cheap at 4.9, but not a high ceiling guy.
Reynaud officially starting, in case you guys missed that. Westbrook, Levine, DeRozan, Murray, Reynaud. Kyle, anything you want to add as far as center on FanDuel?
Dylan Brooks confirmed in, so we'll get that out there as well. And then I guess for center, the one thing I would say compared to DraftKings, I'm probably a little bit less likely to take shots on guys like Jackson and even Mark Williams here because of the opportunity cost at the center position. I still think Mark Williams is a good tournament play, but maybe Jackson's a little bit too thin. Just feel a little bit better about some of these other guys and where they project. And again, if you shoot yourself in the foot at center and somebody goes off here, you're probably in trouble. But the position's still kind of weak in general. So Mark Williams probably still in play, but probably not going to do as much Jackson on FanDuel compared to DK.
I was just going to give a bonus clue for today's Fleet Monday, but we did have one of our regular winners, Peterman. Peterman just nailed it. We'll explain that soon enough. After we knock out the questions, there are some questions on the live stream chat. I'm going to prioritize those. Get your questions on the YouTube. I'll circle back on them. About 10 minutes to go. Let's go ahead and prioritize these questions live stream chat. Before we do that, though, Kyle, I don't want to wait to the end. 10 minutes, 12 minutes. Who's your guy? Who's breaking the slate tonight? Who's a slate breaker?
Man, I think my fun one would probably be Isaiah Jackson.
Okay, that's a fun one.
On DraftKings. I think the one that maybe isn't as, batshit crazy, but still would be a solid tournament play would be Jeremiah Fears, who I do like quite a bit in this spot.
No, give me a fun one and give me the more brainy one, however you want to interpret that.
Yeah, the safer one, I like Nembhard quite a bit. And the fun one, Jose Alvarado.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Okay, Achilles here in the live stream chat. DK Cash, Kyle, this is for you. It's a 2v2. DK Cash, Naz Reid and Westy versus Pascal and Harper.
First one.
All right. Another question, DK Achilles. Oh, he's asking another cash question, Kyle. Westy versus Murphy. Murphy versus Westbrook.
I'm taking Murphy over almost everybody on the slate. And then real quick, Herb Jones also in.
Okay. Are we expecting limited minutes? He hasn't played for a while. We're giving 25 or so?
Yeah, I think we settled on 26. So yeah, definitely limited. Yeah, 25. So definitely limited. He could maybe play a few more, but I think teams may be a little bit cautious here before this kind of mini break. So yeah, 25.
All right, Noto, pick one of these centers. FanDuel single entry. Falcor wants to know Huff, Reynaud, or Cornet. Luke Cornet.
I will go Reynaud.
Arlo, this is for Kyle. DK Cash guard spot. I guess it's any guard. Prioritizing Westbrook versus Gillespie. If it's Cash, it's got to be Gillespie, right? I think it's got to be Gillespie. You tell me, Kyle.
If you have unlimited salary, I'd probably take Westbrook. But if salary is in question, I'd take Gillespie.
Sean, FanDuel tournaments, last piece. Can I play Royce? That's for Noto. That's another one of those. Royce O'Neal, typically, every once in a while, but typically he's a Harry Barnes, right?
Yeah, he's Barnes, so small field cash games, maybe. Not a tournament play for me.
More questions here in the live stream chat. Kyle, this is from Ballers, 3Zs. Utility, Gillespie versus Bay on DK.
If it's tournaments, I will go Bay. If it's cash, I'll go Gillespie.
D-Rock, Noto, DK tournaments, GPP, 2v2. Barnes, and Mark Williams versus Reno and McDaniels.
Oh man, I said I didn't want to play Barnes or McDaniels, so this is a tough one for me. Who was with McDaniels?
McDaniels and Reno. You see it, the Sacramento Center.
And Barnes with
Mark Williams. So I think you liked. At least I know one of you guys liked him.
I'm gonna go the second one.
All right, sliding over to the YouTube. Do kindly hit that like button and subscribe. Is this hoodie new? Relatively, it's relatively new. Not a lot of questions. People are jumping over to the live stream chat channel, so not a ton of questions just yet. I can give some clarity. I mean, since we have time, I'll tell you how we got to today's Fleet Monday. I said 1 and 4 were essentially one clue: block and steal. What are blocks and steals, boys? They're stocks. We call those stocks. Shelf. You stock up a shelf, right? Yeah, on a shelf, you'll stock up a shelf. A certain genre of music, smooth.
Jazz.
Okay, so we have stock, and we have jazz, and we have bathroom. What's another name for a bathroom?
The John.
Banyo.
Are we allowed to say it or no?
Yeah.
Oh,
we already got one.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard horror stories about people spoiling your games. I don't want to be on that list.
TJ once guessed it and won, and I was so angry at him. But he actually just guessed it out of nowhere for no particular reason. But yeah, it's John Stockton. I guess in honor of Noto. I just said Noto, Utah Jazz. There you go. So that was today's athlete. Gillespie, and this is a question here in Discord channel, Noto. FanDuel Cash says Gillespie and 6K forward, or it doesn't say which one, and 6K forward, or Westbrook and Keldon Johnson. So Keldon and Keldon Johnson and Westbrook, or Gillespie and mystery 6K forward. Who would that mystery 6K forward be? Or do you want Westbrook and Keldon?
So it'd probably either be Keldon or Grayson Allen, but now that Brooks is playing, I don't love Allen. So I will go with the non-mystery forward answer.
No mystery box. Kyle, what players do you like from San Antonio?
Dylan Harper, I don't mind because he's cheap-ish, but I'm a little worried about his minutes and his usage with Castle and Fox and Vassell all on the floor at the same time. And then Cornette is cheap as well, so you can make a case for him. I do think that you probably have some decent options to pivot away from him. Those are probably my two favorite options. Maybe Keldon Johnson is also in the mix. Not getting into a ton of Fox because of how much I like some of these other spend-up options, but can't doubt, if you want to play De'Aaron Fox as well.
Noto Allen wants to know on the YouTube, Brooks or Gillespie. Brooks officially in. If you missed it, Brooks or Gillespie.
I mean, Brooks is taking like 25 shots a game and scoring 35 fantasy points. He just doesn't do a lot other than score, so I'm going to go Gillespie.
So 99 minutes for Brooks. I was looking at this before the show. 99 minutes for Brooks without Booker on the court. You want to guess what his usage is? You guys want to throw out a number? It's insane.
I know that it's 10% higher than his regular.
It's almost 40%. It's 39.8%, that's like league leading, basically, close to it. It's a bonker number. Yeah. Okay. What is there a game stack, Noto? If you're going to pick one game, if you're going to stack it up, what's the most appealing game to stack up for you?
It's the first one, but I think that's the popular answer.
Do you feel the same way, Kyle?
Spacers.
Yeah.
Kyle, who's the player you're most afraid of not having enough of or any of?
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah. Noto, same question?
De'Aaron Fox.
D-Rock in the Discord channel, Kyle, for you. DK tournaments, McDaniels or Keldon, and leave the 700 on the table. So I guess he can't find anywhere else to spend that money. McDaniels versus Keldon straight up on DK tournaments, Kyle.
I mean, if you're not doing anything with the salary, I guess I prefer McDaniels, but if you can improve somewhere else, I would prefer Johnson per dollar.
Noto Beater wants to know McDaniels or Levine FanDuel tournaments. It's got to be Levine, right? I think it's got to be Levine.
For sure.
Lippy, our guy Lippy in chat. This is for Kyle. Thoughts on Royce O'Neal? If he's really 6%, that seems too low. I don't have the ownership in front of me, but Royce O'Neal, and it is of note that Brooks is in. So I think it hurts his ceiling to some degree. Do you like Royce O'Neal, Kyle?
I mean, you can play anybody that's going to play real minutes at 6% if that's like your lean there, your angle. But yeah, he's not a guy I'm getting into a ton because Brooks is there now.
Yeah. Who's the biggest bust for salary? No, I'm just going down like the expert survey. Who's the biggest bust for salary tonight? Do you remember who you put? I know you're on the survey earlier today.
I want to say I put Mark Williams, but that's not going to be a popular answer with Kyle.
Yeah. I mean, so he's one of those guys who can definitely play, though it doesn't necessarily project great as far as salary. Tough matchup as well. Just trying to see if there's any more questions lurking in chat. If I missed them, my bad. Write them again. I don't think so, though. I think I got them all. Somebody wrote questions earlier in YouTube, but I'm not going to scroll all the way up. By all means, feel free to write. Feel free to write it again as we have 2-3 minutes or so until lock. Kyle, you have any sports bets as far as basketball tonight? Any props, or it's just football stuff?
Yeah, I have stuff on both sports. For NBA, I did Anthony Edwards under 39.5 PRA last night. That's at 37.5 now, so probably can't get that number. I took Pacers minus 3.5, and I took Trey Murphy over 21.5 points.
Noto, test in the Discord channel. How many players do you play in the first game if you're stacking? What can we play? 4, 5, 6? How many can we play here in this first game?
Right now, I have 3 Pacers, 3 Kings in my main lineup.
So 6. We can play 6.
3 + 3, yeah.
We can go 6. Yeah, sure. Why not? You got to root for overtime, I suppose.
Like Thompson's cheap. Reyno's pretty cheap. So it's not like breaking the bank at 6.
No, you think Thompson is good? He's going to be like super, super chalky. Is he good chalk on DK? He's useful.
I mean, I think so. I was just looking at his G League stats. He was 26, 6 and 6 before getting called up.
He's also like, isn't he 26 years old? Like I imagine he's older than most of the players in the league, but
yeah, he was really productive in college for what it's worth at Oregon State, but don't know how much that's actually worth.
Yeah, that was like 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, probably. It was, I think, 21 or 22, maybe.
Question here in the YouTube Infinite for Kyle. FanDuel single entry, Huff or Randy's Huff or Randy and Reed or Queen. I'm not sure if I'm understanding that.
I'm gonna guess it's Huff and Reyno, and then who and who?
And Reed or Queen. It says Huff or Randy's and Reed or Queen. I'm just reading it. I can read the teleprompter.
I'll take Nas, Reed, and Queen. I'm guessing that's Reyno, but I'll still take Reed and Queen.
How does the apostrophe get in there if you're putting in Reyno? How does that actually?
Hey, Steve Jobs does some crazy things with autocorrect, man.
Do people still think Barkley sucks? Are we talking about Saquon? Is that what we're talking about? That's probably a football question. You guys have a football take on the game tonight, Philadelphia and the Chargers, as we wind down. I know it's going to be a chop and beer, 7:30. So a half hour. They're going to talk tonight's showdown slate. Philadelphia, a couple point favorite tonight at the Chargers. Justin Herbert, is he wearing the power glove? What is he going to be on? What's going to be in his hand tonight? We're not really sure, but maybe not being able to take a snap under center. At least that's what we saw as far as the video. No. If you put any thought into Chargers Eagles tonight?
I haven't built any DFS lineups yet, but I like McConkey over 4.5 receptions. I think they're going to want to get the ball out of his hands. McConkey's their slot guy. That's what I'm going with.
What do you got, Kyle?
I also took McConkey over. I did yards, but like receptions as well. And I took Hampton over. I think it was 53.5, 54.5 rushing and receiving. I thought that was very low. But I'm considering laddering Hampton, so that might be something I'm putting in to scores and odds here any minute.
We're at the bell. CW in chat says Rivers playing quarterback for the Colts. Is that something that's happening, or is that something you're just making up? Obviously, Daniel Jones is gone, and Anthony Richardson, I think he's done for the year too with his pregame injury. Yeah.
Garofalo says Philip Rivers is visiting with the Colts.
What?
This would be amazing.
Like, why not? Like, yeah. Who's going to watch the 12 kids, though? I hope they got a babysitter or two.
Yeah, maybe that's why he needs the diaper money.
He just wants to get away, man. He just
maybe that.
He just wants to escape, I imagine. I don't know. He could build an entire team. Doesn't he have 10+ kids? I think he's got 10+ kids, if I'm not mistaken. But okay. It's better than the quarterback from Notre Dame. I'm forgetting the guy's name. I imagine it's better. Yeah, Rivers is a professional quarterback. And yeah, okay.
He's 50, though.
He's not 50, but how old is he?
He's pretty close.
Is he 44? How old is Philip Rivers?
He's got to be younger than Rodgers, right? Or is it
Rodgers
he's probably older.
44. Nice call.
Okay. There you go. Nailed it. I win both showcase showdowns. All right. Do appreciate y'all watching. Again, hit that like button on your way out. We're going to talk football in a half hour or so. You got Beer Makers Fan. You got Chop. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Turn on notifications. Win something tonight. That was Kyle. That was Derek. Shout out producer Steve. We're out of here.